in the bottom left. There we go. In the bottom left, folks, in the red, he is, for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it's Cure. His opponent in the upper right, in the blue, is Zoun. I just realized my things were not working. Okay. I changed things around, actually. So, I realized that I was having an issue with my new Basilisk assets. And that they were kind of chunking along. And I realized that all of my stream assets were sitting in the, in my, what's the word? In my, in a hard drive. And if you're trying to load, you know, lots and lots of stuff into a hard drive like that. What's the word? I can talk. If you're trying to load like lots and lots of data from a hard drive, it chunks. So that has been fixed. And we're good. But it took me a second to figure that out. I'm like, wow, is I have this 3090, I have this powerful computer, like what's up? And it turns out just the issue was you know, running on outdated tech. I really should, I guess, just go well, it's not terrible. I was gonna say I guess I should just go and get rid of that drive and upgrade to another SSD, but like, you know, I have the drive and it's not really degrading, it just can't handle pulling gigabytes from it at a time to load into memory. So, you know, that's that one. But anyways, folks, of course, this is the first series of 4 of the round of 8 at the Red Cross Cup that is happening. That happened this morning, I think at like 6 a.m. and maybe even earlier. But luckily, we have been given the replays to be able to cast over. And by the way, this is no delay. So if you got a question, you want to say something, like you like Zoun's photo, I do like Zoun's photo, and SC2. It's kind of evil. Also, for sure, that makes me uncomfortable. Anyways, folks, as this is a best of 5 and we are now into the first game, take a look, right? What does the Legalax say? Huh. I think I would have given Zoun something a bit in the 45 range. I mean, Kira's been looking good as of late, but you know, Zoun is actually his probably his best matchup is BVT, and I would like to remind you that last year in the group stage of Katowice, now granted, that was a year ago now, but hey, it was high profile. Zoun went and he was the only one to beat Hero. He was the only one to make, or Maru, excuse me, he was the only one to make Raynor look mortal. He's just not super consistent. Also, as Ann says, yes, Kira is Kira, and Kira has been looking better. Kira won GSL Season 1 of 2021. I want to say last year, but technically that's not true anymore. You know, about 18 months ago or something. Looked very, very good, but from that point onwards, he kind of started to experience this downswing. And I don't know what it is, but he has been kind of on the up and up more and more now as he's starting to find his form just a little bit. Oh, nice probe surround. And this is one of the benefits, by the way, because this was played on the new patch. One of the benefits of the changes. Now workers, their burst damage. That immediate bit of damage they do, because they don't have to stop. They don't have to fully decelerate before they do their damage, is a lot burstier. And so you can pull things and kill Reapers that have the gall to move into a mineral line. And it actually works out pretty well. It's surprisingly effective. You know, traditional a traditional thought says it's probably not worth to pull your workers off the mineral line. It's just not worth the mining time, and you can deal with it other ways. But if you can kind of get the, ooh, I like that little doodad. But if you can go and you can get the Reaper pretty consistently, that's going to work out fairly well. Exactly, and I have never taken my shirt off in a StarCraft broadcast, so I don't know I don't know how you would have that one, unless it's an artist rendition. And then I'm a little worried that you took the time to draw a picture of me without my shirt on. That's a little bit dicey as a Widowmine Drought finds his way into the main base here, but hey, Zoun's on top of the good probe splits and not even a reburrow, or not even under a reburrow micro. So smallest bit of mining time, although as I say that, what's in the natural? Hellion runs down. Doesn't get much done, and now the probes have been brought back to mining. So, hey, Kira gets 2 workers. It's game 1. They're feeling each other out. it could be worse. I mean, it also could be better, but could be worse. So charge now on the way from Zoun, as his blink is done as expected. And he's going to stay very gateway heavy style for the next bit of time. And that is really how we've started to see Protoss players more and more as of late. Start to try to get themselves into this mid-game idea. You delay your tech, you get a lot of early stuff, charge, blink, whatever. And then that allows you to go and just be very aggressive on the map to have a really strong army that fights the initial move out of the Terran. As the auto turret, well, again, seeing the, well, I guess we don't really see the nerf all that much, but the auto turret has been nerfed by about 4 seconds, I think, in terms of how long it exists on the map. I think it went to 13 to 9, but don't quote me on that one. As the stalkers run forward and, well, they eat a couple tank shots, one stalker will fall. So at this kind of point on, well, Zoun, hey, benefits of casting this game from replays. We don't have to worry about pauses. Yeah, that well, 2 workers is just about the standard against non-Stargate play, and it's kind of expected. Anything more than that is a lot of damage for the Terran. Anything less than that is kind of miraculous. It's just like, well, okay, I'm gonna get 2 workers. One of mine are gonna fall. Maybe I save it. That's good for me. Maybe, you know, I lose the medevac. Maybe that's bad for me. But yeah, there we go. Not yet, Forbidden Boba. Give me 18 months though. As Kira now getting ready to move out on the map. Storm halfway done though for Zoun, so that's going to be the timing that he's going to try to wait for. But his gateways, they're only halfway done. There is not a lot available on the map for Zoun right now. He's got an Immortal, he's got 6 Stalkers, he's got an Adept, he's got some High Templar warping in, and they're not even going to turn themselves, well, they're not even going to stay High Templar. Zoun understands that waiting for Storm here is not really going to do all that much for him. He needs the beef of the Archons right now, so one Widow Mine will fall here to start. As Kira tries to cut off the natural from the third, and this is so wide open that it's actually going to be easy enough for Zoun to make the hold happen eventually, but for right now, he doesn't have the army for it. So charge is done, but Storm is not. Zealot's going to warp in. The third base is just dead immediately, and Zoun just kind of caught off guard. Stalker's playing on top of the tanks, but they're going to get one shot off. Second bit of tanks will go down, but there's just nothing to defend these Immortals. This is going to be a game 1 victory for Kira just about immediately. And well, that's that. Kira takes game number 1. In the upper left, folks, in the red, up a game in this series for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it's Kira. And the bottom right in the blue. Down a map, I just didn't have quite the proper opening, to be totally honest. For Alpha X, Zoun. Thank you there, Forbidden Boba. I will do my best to have a fun future. Also a fun present, actually. But yeah, then I wouldn't be wearing the shirt. I guess that would make Foshers happy, though. And, you know, I am getting somewhat closer to hitting partner, and I think I promised at some point that I was going to do a hot tub stream once if I ever hit partner. That may have to change. Excuse me. Basilisk may not allow me to do that. That may not be their brand is all about a couple things, but they want to be an extremely professional organization, you know, which is very valid, by the way. This is not me judging them whatsoever, but I'm pretty sure having one of their members do a hot tub stream is not exactly in the range of professionalism. Well, and Basilisk PTV into house, the team that I joined. I just realized I don't have a command for that. That's unfortunate. I was announced Basilisk yesterday, and that's awesome. It's very, very exciting. You'll see the little overlay on the in-game setup. You'll see other things. Eventually they'll send me a hoodie and a shirt that's like in the process of getting shipped out right now, because they're still small. Although I hope you all enjoyed if you watched the Big Brain Bouts yesterday. I printed out their logo and stuck it to my forehead. As a pro, well, you know, almost gets the SCV down, but a Marine arrives, so that's going to be fine. And we are starting to see in this matchup, and granted, I have not seen a lot of TVP on the new maps just yet, but we are starting to see some level of the change that this that these maps are giving us, and that how wide open they are. they're really enabling these Terran pushes of being able to cut off the natural and the third. Yes, if charge is done and you have enough Zealots, that wide open characteristic is really nice because, hey, Zealots get on top much easier. But before that's the case, as the probe is going to be found out in the corner by the Reaper, before that is the case, the issue becomes that it takes a longer time to circulate between the natural and the third base because it is so wide open, which means it's a little bit easier for the Terran to cut the natural and the third off. And we saw Kier do just that in the previous game. Because the games we're casting right now, Aldebaran, happened this morning. So the point is, well, you know, it's already the results are already on Liquipedia, and I don't want to spoil. Like, if you get the results from there, it'll spoil you, which is not great. Actually, here's what we can do. Okay, one probe will go down here at the start. That's just going to be just about it. Okay. There we go. All right, so Reaper Hellion, they dive into the natural. They get a worker. You know, they get a decent amount of a scout, but it's the Widowmine drop that is going to try to find the value, but it's going to get scouted out immediately here. Nice job there from Zoun on the Widowmine, or on the adept positioning. He's going to be able to figure out exactly what's happening, but, well, it wasn't the Widowmines that caused problems last time. Right? It was not the Widowmines that killed Zoun. It was the full frontal push, the two base early stim time, because that timing hit at like 6:30 with two tanks instead of the typical 7:30 3-1-1 timing that you normally see Terrans go for. So yeah, third base is delayed a little bit, but it hit with a lot of stuff. Zoun was not ready, his storm was not ready, his tech was not ready, and that was a bit rough. But Blink is done, charge immediately getting started here. So Zoun seems to be going for the same seems to really be going for the kind of the same idea he did in game number one. Is a couple stalkers are going to go keep the medevac away from the mineral line, but what this means now is when Zoun moves out with his some number of stalkers, it's 3 stalkers in this case, he's not going to have 7, right? He's going to only have the 3 because a couple stalkers are trapped right at home. And folks, this seems to be a rehash of the previous game. Now, I don't know whether this is because people are starting to try to hide builds for Katowice, or this is just players trying to figure out the new patches, the new maps. I know Kira's been playing, at least on officials, Kira's played a lot more games on the new patch than Zoun has. Zoun almost never plays in an EPT Cup, which has been played on the new balance patch for like a month now, maybe. On the maps are soon. So Widowmines are going to drop in the natural. Zoun, is he paying attention? Yeah, he's got the probes on the way, and the Stalker's blink is done, so they should be able to blink out, and there we go. Dodge both Widowmine shots, and that's going to be absolutely fine. Raven gets dropped to the main base, though. That gets a couple more workers. It's 3 in this case, but again, Ravens don't last, or auto turrets don't last quite as long. What's my favorite map in the new pool and ST2? Probably Neo-Humanity. I think that the kind of the forward rich gas bases, they provide a really interesting late game incentive to fight, and it's actually kind of cool for the Terran. You can put a tank behind the mineral or behind the wall, that doodad, and it actually allows them to defend what should be a pretty indefensible base. Well, auto turret health was nerfed, auto turret armor was nerfed, and auto turret time, the amount of time that they exist, lifespan was nerfed as well. So now here comes the push from Cure once again. Similar timing. Combat shield's just about done. Stim is done. 647 on the map. How many tanks? 2. It's the same build. It's like literally the same build, mashing up against each other. But this time, there is no Templar archives. Zoun instead has committed to more stuff on the ground, as that's going to be a dead observer, even with the speed buff. The observer does go down, and Zoun is just going to try to commit for more stuff on the ground. This army is much more substantial than it was in the first game. All right, it was like 7 Stalkers and Immortal in 2 Centuries in game 1. This time we're looking at 10 charge slots, 2 Immortals, 10 Stalkers, probably another round of Warp Ends before this really gets started. This should be much more holdable from Zoun than it was in game number 1, but just because it should be does not necessarily mean it is. And remember, if the push from the Terran finds its way into the natural, where you're dealing with the shield batteries, that medevac will not fall. The shield batteries are not quite as strong as they once were, but another round of warp ends here on the Zealots. I gotta figure that this is gonna work out from Zoun, but again, remains to be seen. One Widowmine will fall to start. And Zoun thinking about a bit of a run by to drag Cure back, but doesn't really seem to be wanting to do all that one. As Zealots now run forward. Widowmines, how good are the shots they're going to get? You know, not great. One Zealot each is going to be the target, but the tanks are here, shelling away at the Stalkers. And Zoun, despite how wide open this natural is, does not really seem to be able to pull his way out of it. And the tank just has vision on the Zealots there, but now they're going to run forward. Stalkers trying to get on top of the tank on the left. Widowmines go off, and it's going to get a couple Stalkers here. Tank now exposed on the front line, but the Zealots are starting to fall, and Cure he micros backwards, but now goes forward. One Immortal is going to fall. Second one goes down as well, and yes, the Zealots have been warped in, but they're going to micro their way backwards more and more. Third Immortal gets tagged, and it seems like Zoun is going to hold on for the moment. That is a questionable hold in the slightest, because well, Cure continues to rally on forward. The third base is going to go down, and these Zealots are going to get dealt with pretty damn quickly. And I mean, look at resources lost here. 31 Zealots already 8 minutes into this game. Yeah, there are two Immortals, and Widowmines try to burrow up forward, but Immortals, again, they start to fall here, targeted down Stalkers as well. Another Immortal's going to hit the deck, and Widowmines, they burrow themselves forward, try to find a little bit of the army that they can. A Medevac's going down, but here come the Widowmines right on top of everything. One gets targeted, second one does not get targeted down. Another shield battery overcharge. That's how long this fight has been happening, but the Widowmines, they get their shots off, and the Immortals, they continue to fall. So now it's Stalkers versus Marauders, but folks, that's not really what you want. Meanwhile, of course, Auto Turret in the main base gets another probe. Single probe, mind you, but in this game where it is so on the wire, and realistically, this is a game that Cure's already punched through probably, you can't afford to lose probes if you're down. All right, so again, the Zealots will run forward. Medevac falls, and that's going to be nice for Cure, or for Zoun. But the problem is there's no tech. You know, there's no splash here. It's 1-1 for the bio, only +1 for Zoun. He's single forge anyways. And this push that we've seen 2 games in a row now, it just doesn't seem to be something that this build from Zoun, which realistically, getting all the ground pounding units, not advancing your tech all that much, that's what this build is designed to kill. So part of it is probably the shield battery overcharge. I don't think any of the other nerfs or buffs are super relevant here. But whatever it is, Cure has just been playing much better than Zoun. High Templars have been made, but there's no Storm. They just need to build Archons. And now look at what Cure's posturing. He's keeping his opponent's army in the natural. Zealots are going to run forward, again, to their death, to their doom. And he's posturing in such a way where the moment that Zoun refuses to fight him, he's going to go down and slap the third base. So Zoun has to take a fight that he does not want to take. Gateways are going to go down. Archon falls here as well. There's going to be another shield battery overcharge eventually. But at this point, I'm not really sure how much it matters. It is 80 army supply to 27. Immortals, there are 3 of them here once again. Zealot run by on the other side finds just about nothing. And Cure, sitting in a little bit longer game this game too, again smashes Zoun. In the bottom right, folks, in the red, he's taken 2 games in a row, the exact same build, the exact same victory. He's Cure. And the upper left in the blue. Down 2 games, looking for a comeback. Reverse sweep now, it's Zoun. Well, you know, and SC2. So, I believe the final series that we're going to be casting here before we start EPT Korea is going to be Beyond and Raynor. And so, a Raynor game, right? 4th series of the day. And I did the big brain bouts yesterday, right? You might say, hey, Bea, why is this relevant at all? And I'll get to it. We had 3 straight 3-0s of kind of dominant fashion, and then we had, well, it wasn't a 3, it was a 3-1, but it was a lot closer of a series. So the story I'm telling here is I believe that apparently if there's a Raynor series that's going to be the 4th best of 5 of the day, it dooms everything else to be a 3-0. Hey, Zorfire plays games. The question now we ask ourselves, and it's always an important question, is whether we're going to see the same build 3 times in a row. Yes, we saw Zoun make some minor variations, and he just kind of got slapped aside regardless. I think we are starting to see the impact of, first of all, while this is the most average bases we've had in a map pool in a while, the maps themselves are not particularly large. Everything's between like 33 and 37 second rush distance, which is kind of right smack dab in the middle. And of course, the map makers have accomplished this by really starting to do away with dead airspace a little bit, which kind of makes me sad. I mean, I know you got to deal with liberators, but you know, they've started to deal with dead airspace a little bit. So, you know, again, rush distances are short even when there are a good number of bases, but between short rush distances and how the shield battery has been nerfed, it looks like it's getting these like 6:45, 7-minute heavily produced stimmed bio pushes are becoming pretty crazy for the Protoss to deal with. Now, granted, this is one series. Even before this, Aligulac was saying Cure was going to mean 3-1 in this, and well, now I'm pretty sure it's going to say it's going to be a mean, yeah, 3-0, less than 10% chance. But in general, I need to see more TVP really before I can make an informed judgment. Zoun is changing things up though. In fact, he's going to go Phoenix here in this game number 2, and this is likely going to be Phoenix into charge. It's going well, Zorfire. It's going great. You know, I submitted a paper for my PhD program for a conference on Friday, and also yesterday, Friday, I was officially the announcement went out that I have joined Basilisk Gaming, which is awesome. Very exciting. We're gonna do some really cool stuff together. Cannot wait. But anyways, it's gonna be Phoenix play coming out of Zoun, and again, likely into charge behind this, which can be a very powerful option here. It means the Raven doesn't matter nearly as much. It means that you have a lot of lifts on Widow Mines, on tanks, Zealots get on top. It actually can work out very well. But just because it can doesn't mean it necessarily will. Can I start making snake puns now? Well, the one thing I need to make sure not to do is talk about Rocco's Basilisk, which is like that ideologically dangerous thought experiment about vengeful AIs that have not like punish you for not having brought the AI forward, like a simulation of you. Apparently it was giving people like panic attacks when it was first postulated back in the early 2010s. But I don't know a lot of snake puns, actually. And SC2. I will do my best, though. Again, I don't think I can promise anything, but I will do my best as Alien dives in, kills a probe, and that's just going to be that. Yeah, Viking into Raven is somewhat interesting. It's an old tech. It's something that we have seen before, but I don't think we've seen it all that recently, where Vikings do... Oh, yeah, that's exact. No, that's it's fighter mode. Yeah, fighter mode's in the air. So I don't know whether this is just a soul read, figuring that Zoun's not going to go Twilight 3 games in a row. But it's a great one here. Is now the Phoenix try to get on top. One Phoenix goes down, but they get the Raven. And that means no harass from the Raven, no shutdown, no anti-armor missile. Although anti-armor missile has been nerfed. It's now only -2 armor. Actually, that may not be true in the current version of the patch. At least one version of the new patch that was true. And the color is changed a little bit. But I believe the auto turret has been nerfed. Or the anti-armor missile has been nerfed. But regardless, the Raven goes down. That's a lot of power out of this army. And Zoun immediately capitalizes. He gets the Raven. Robo facility. He's going to start moving into Colossus play behind this. And he's going to have, well, probably one Colossus just about done by the time that this happens. But going back to the Viking play for a moment, because there were questions about it. The whole goal of that Viking play generally is you build a Viking because it's not that expensive. You run it across the map at 2 shots workers. It's a pretty powerful form of harass. But in this case, its job is just to do a little bit more long-range anti-air against what Zoun is doing. So you can't quite sit there as you can't sit the Phoenix quite as tightly as you would like to the base. The Viking, it's a little bit of added damage over time that can add up and make it hard for Zoun to find what he wants. Phoenix going to try to dive in once again, but with the missile turrets here, not going to be all that successful. Hellion dives into the third base. Probes, of course, have to get pulled away, but problem now is there's no Twilight tech. There is no blink, so maneuverability is lacking, and charge is on the way but not done. And Cure is moving out now. He's going to be across the map in probably about 10 seconds. So that means charge will not be done, but charge will be done soon after the army's first clash. So if there's some way that Zoun can go and delay things, there we go. That's what the Viking was for. But Zoun finds it immediately. if he can delay long enough, and it seems like just Cure waited enough time, that charge is now done. First Colossus is out on the map. Second one halfway done, a little bit less. And, well, extended thermal lance as well. This is a lot beefier of an army that Cure has access to with the force fields, with the Colossus. That range, it means Widow Mines are not nearly as powerful as they might otherwise be. The Phoenix, they're not here just yet. So even though Zoun and Cure are relatively even in army supply, effective army supply at the front line, not quite there. As a probe was, oh, well, that was 2 probes sacrificed. I don't think that's what you want. Do we have any? Okay. Zoun's cutting a lot of corners here to make this happen. He did not get a single observer in this game. I mean, he felt that he needed all of his possible robo time to build the Immortal and to start building these Colossuses as quickly as possible, as a Widow Mine will go down, and Phoenix does not get quite traded. So there we go. Nice job, Zoun, and it's good scouting. Now Zoun is A, aware of where Cure's army is, and B, getting a Widow Mine is always fantastic at this stage of the game. Hey, Jin Kaisha. Xie, that's a sh sound, right? Or Xie, that's a, is it she? I'm sorry, I don't speak Chinese, and I certainly don't, well, I guess I'm closer if it's transliterated Chinese, but anyway, I'm trying. Not saying I'm failing, but not saying I'm successful, but I'm trying. So the big news here, right, by going for this Phoenix Colossus style, this defensive style, yeah, my biggest complaint with Chinese and English, like transliterated, is we have the sound, at least some of the sounds, but they're not transliterated properly. So like QI is chi. We could do CHI, and that would be the phonetic interpretation of things. But instead we use the Q, and I'm not totally sure why. And it leads to people that like Anglophones or people in the Anglosphere just mispronouncing things because they read it as it would be in English. So it'd be cha, something like that. Okay, now Cure is getting his multi-prong just a little bit. Colossus and Archons on in the natural, doing a good job defending that one. And well, the army is trying to get set up for Cure on the left side, but right now Zoun seems to be doing a pretty damn good job of splitting his army appropriately. More charge lots, less Colossus in the main natural areas of Widow. What? Random Colossus goes forward, tanks the Widow Mine shot, but doesn't take any hull damage, so should be okay. There is no Zerg in this game, being 78. This is a TVP. We will have Zerg later on, though. We will have what I'm told is a fantastic series between Raynor and Bjorn, one I'm very much looking forward to. But of course, there are other series as well. Max Pax versus Dark is, I think, actually going to be the 4th series of the day. I forget what the one we're going into next is. But anyways, I'm told the games are incredible, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And, you know, the good news here for Zoun is his supply is great. He's equal with the Terran. He's on his 4 base. This may be a little bit slow, but he's holding on for right now. Disruptor shot is going to go out. And remember, they've undone a lot of this buff. It is not nearly as small as it was made at one point. As now Zealous coming from the backside, and well, Widow Mine friendly fire is going to be the extent of that one for the most part. Cure fails to find the damage he wants once again. But this army on the right side, what is that? 5-6 ghosts and a bunch of marauders. This is a 4th base that probably is just going to go down. Yeah, it's dead immediately. It has to get canceled. So Zoun's doing a good job of holding on, but it doesn't feel like he's doing anything on the map. So if you're not doing anything, if you're just kind of playing this passive style, the Terran will just, it feels like the Terran is going to start to tear you apart. Yeah, I know Bing 78 that technically it should be like Zoun, something like that, but all the English casters say Zoun, so it's, oh, 4th base was just going to die. But all the English casters say Zoun, so it's like, or Zoun, so it's like, well, you know, I could have everyone confused because I'm pronouncing it how, like, I guess it's technically pronounced, or we can just kind of follow the crowd and be okay. Disruptor shot's gonna go out, gets a Widow Mine. Yeah, and remember, of course, the I know I said this before, but a gorge portion of the Disruptor shot, it's not quite as big as it was, but they brought back a lot of that nerve. It's only like 0.1 diameter smaller instead of 0.5 like 1.2, something like that. Again, much bigger. As now, Cure tries to stim in on the left side. He's already delayed the fourth base a couple times. EMP's blanket this army. And the Bio, are they going to be able to get on top of the Colossus that's keeping things utterly safe? Shield battery goes down, and Cure, he just gets right on top of the Colossus, knocks it down. And that is the damage he's looking for. Yes, the army of Zoun is going to be able to rotate on over, but Cure micros away. Disruptors don't really find the value that they're looking for at all, really. And well, from this point onwards, Zoun, all of a sudden, he was equal on supply. Now he's 50 supply down. He's down in army supply. Yes, he's got 2 too, but so too does Cure. And he's done with this without Vikings, which is hilarious because Vikings were buffed. Their attack point is was buffed by about 66%. So their ability to kind of go backwards and kite is much, much higher now. And I haven't seen Vikings to deal with Colossus just in this, in a TVP at all in the patch change. Hey, Dave, thanks so much for the raid. Folks, by the way, if you're coming in from Dave's channel, please do me a favor. Go and click on my name and remove referral equals raid tag, as it Twitch is denying me for weird reasons. I'm almost a partner. Here now drop on the right side. Adding in, getting into late game Liberator plays, adding the... I might blank on the name. Not the Fleet Beacon, the other one. So he's going to get Liberator range eventually. Dropping the main base. Just of a lot of stuff here. And this can sometimes not work out all that well for the Terran. They get cleaned up. It's a little bit awkward. But the Dark Shrine's down, and that's not going to be all that great. Templar Archives goes down as well. And now both kinds of High Templar, or both kinds of Templar, will fall. Now, Cure will struggle to take this fight. The chokes are kind of disgusting. He can't get on top of the Colossus, but he can sit at the edge of things. Disruptor shots again don't seem like they get all that much damage. And now here we go forward. Archons get pop. Stalkers are going down. The Immortal is going to fall here as well, but on the left side of the least, Zoun's taking a pretty good fight. He gets lifts on Ghosts and Marauders, knocks that down, but in the main base, more and more Archons are going to go down. Colossus getting low, and now you run out. Carbon bombing on top of the Colossus here. That's 3 Colossus dead this game. And, oh, shield battery overcharge. Maybe not. Never mind. And now the Stalkers warp in, trying to get the medevac that has still something in it, but even that's not going to matter. Hey, PGK. Yeah, the Archons can get through the gap, but the Stalker was just kind of stuck there at range, firing away. Here's up and everything. I mean, I would love to say, wow, this game's pretty even, but it's not. Not at all. Look at the resources lost. It's pretty bad. Cure is starting to take the map at this point. His 5th base is on the way on the north side. Now, Phoenix are going to run in, and I don't know what happened to the Phoenix. They just were not active. They weren't doing anything this entire game, and that does mean that they're somewhat helpful now, lifting up a couple ghosts. Disruptor shots on the left side are going to be pretty nice. Even with the nerf, they're able to kill a lot of this bio, so it's a start for Zoun. He's finding his way forward just a little bit, but there's no way he breaks this 4th base. Not with the planetary, not with the Liberators there. It's just not happening. And +2 Liberators are just about done. So they're going to 2-shot Stalkers. One-shotting Stalkers with the EMP. Zoun does not have the tech. He does not have the economy. He doesn't really have anything that he needs to try to take a good fight. When you're at this late game and you're playing like Charge Lot Disruptor, which is what he's moving into, you need to be a base up on the Terran. Ideally, 2. I don't even know that they were at the 3rd and SC2. They just were not super present on the map. But now Zoun, he's at 180 odd army supply, starting to max out just a little bit. And we have what is it? Oh, man, what is the name of this upgrade? We have the medevac upgrade, right? The whole which makes them move faster and also makes them boost for longer. So really, it's just nice to be able to have medevacs that are just a little bit faster, add some maneuverability on the map. As while the Liberators, they're sieging up, the Widowmine is actually kind of out of position just a little bit. But Zoun is going to try to make this happen right here. Disruptor shots are not going to land, but the 4th base is dead. Somehow, despite everything, despite Zoun being down, well, he's equal on upgrades, but despite Zoun being down in pretty much everything here, he's actually going to get 2 bases. He's found the inside track, and suddenly Cure, we talked about how good this game is, and don't get me wrong, it is. He just lost 2 bases. He lost a planetary, he lost his 4th base, he lost his 5th base. And now Zoun is the one up. He's mining a whole hell of a lot more. His army complexity is really where it needs to be. EMPs look to hit this army. And somehow, Zoun, despite being down, that's insane. Zoun was down 6,000 resources. Now he's only down 2. He's really starting to bring his way back into this game with this drop of the natural. It's going to cause some level of consternation. Gets a couple probes. Stalkers are not going to be able to fight this one on their own, and with no defensive DTs, actually scan gets dropped anyways. They're all going to go down. Disruptor's going to have to do something, but Kira does pick up. He runs away. And that was a nice little drop coming in from the Dragon Phoenix Terran. Is it rapid reignition? I always have it infernal pre-igniters, but that's blue flame. Anyways, big concave coming in from Cure right now. Disruptor shots are not going to land whatsoever. And the Liberators, they're getting sieged up on top of everything. Cure with a concave gets on top of everything. The Colossus will fall. Stalkers are getting shredded. And it's all on these Disruptors. You know what? They're getting decent shots, but I'm not sure how much it matters anymore. Cure drops down below 100 supply. And you know what? Zoun did a great job of coming back into this game. He fought long, he fought hard, and seems like this one DT is going to kill an orbital or kill a command center. Maybe not. But even still, at this point, it's just not really doable anymore. Disruptors are again pretty nice, but they're just going to get hot picked up. DTs run in, and that is that. Zoun played a much better game in game number 3, but Cure just kind of killed him anyways.